No one expected that an ordinary afternoon, the kind where sunlight drapes itself lazily over rooftops and the air carries nothing more dramatic than salt and wind, would quietly unfold into the most unforgettable night of their lives. James stood near the window of the hotel room, his phone already slipped back into his pocket, watching Two Deep move gently around their sleeping daughter. The baby lay curled in the bed like a small, warm secret, her breathing even, her face calm in a way only children know. "Why don't you wear something nice?" James asked softly, almost casually, as though the question carried no weight at all. Two Deep paused, her hands stilling mid-motion. She looked up at him, confused. "Something nice?" she echoed. "Why? Where are we going? And what about the baby?" James smiled, but it wasn't the confident smile of a CEO closing a deal. It was quieter, almost shy. "I already spoke to the receptionist," he said. "She's happy to watch her." "Just for an hour or two. It's a surprise." "A surprise?" Two Deep narrowed her eyes suspiciously, though the corners of her lips were already lifting. "James, you're planning something, aren't you? Please," he said gently. "Trust me." She hesitated, looking from her daughter's peaceful face back to her husband's hopeful one. For a moment, she saw not the man who carried the weight of companies and responsibilities, but the man who still wanted, desperately, to make her smile. With a soft sigh, she reached for her small bag and pulled out the only dress she had brought that could be called beautiful. A simple floral summer dress, light and unassuming. She rarely wore it back in the mountain village, but she had packed it anyway, just in case. James changed too, into his nicest shirt, a clean white button-up that made him look unexpectedly polished. When Two Deep stepped out of the bathroom, hair loose, cheeks lightly flushed, the warm hotel lighting catching her skin, James forgot how to breathe. "You're stunning," he said, the words honest and unguarded. She blushed, instinctively waving it off. "You're just being kind. I'm just a country woman." James took her hand, his grip firm, unwavering. "You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen." They checked on their daughter one last time, safe, warm, deeply asleep, before heading downstairs. The receptionist smiled knowingly when she saw them dressed up. "Don't worry," she said warmly. "I'll check on her every 15 minutes. Go enjoy your night." James didn't lead Two Deep toward the street or the busy restaurants. Instead, he turned toward the beach. "James, where are we going?" Two Deep asked. "All the restaurants are the other way." He only smiled. "Just trust me." They walked down the narrow path, the sound of the ocean growing louder with every step. And then, as they reached the final curve, Too Deep stopped cold. There, on the sand, was a small table set for two. Candles, dozens of them, formed a glowing circle, their flames flickering gently in the sea breeze. A white tablecloth draped softly over the table. Real plates, real glasses, flowers arranged with care. Beyond it all stretched the ocean, dark, vast, mysterious, its waves providing a steady, breathing rhythm. Too Deep lifted a hand to her mouth. James, what is this? When did you do all of this? He pulled her toward the table, his own heart pounding. I just wanted one night. Just for us. Her eyes filled instantly with tears. It's more than okay, she whispered. It's perfect. They sat. Almost immediately, a young waiter appeared, someone James had quietly hired for the evening. The first course arrived. Fresh seafood caught that morning, grilled fish, prawns, calamari prepared in the local style. James poured wine, only a little. To the best day of our lives, he said, and to many more like this, Too Deep added, her voice thick with emotion. As they ate, she made small sounds of delight, laughing softly like a child discovering sweets for the first time. This is so good, James. Try the prawns, but more than the food, it was the conversation that made the night extraordinary. No interruptions, no responsibilities, just the two of them, under the stars, with the ocean listening. Do you remember the first time we met? James asked, smiling at the memory. Too Deep burst into laughter, covering her face. Oh God, yes. I was at the market selling vegetables. You just stood there staring, not buying anything. I couldn't move, James admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. It took me 3 visits before I found the courage to talk to you. And even then, I sent my friend to ask if you were single. I thought you were strange, she teased. I was terrified, he said softly. You were so beautiful. I was just a poor farmer. Too Deep reached across the table and took his hand. I liked you from the first moment. I just didn't know how to show it. They fell into a comfortable silence, both thinking about how far they had come, from shy beginnings to this moment. Married, with a daughter, sitting at a candlelit table on the beach. I'm so lucky to have you, James said quietly. You worked so hard for us, Too Deep replied. You're a good husband, a good father. I can't imagine life without you. After dinner, James stood and offered his hand. They walked barefoot along the beach, fingers intertwined, the moon casting a silver path across the water. He stopped and turned to her, taking both her hands. Too deep, he said, his voice steady. I promise. No matter what happens, no matter how hard life gets, I will always love you. I will protect you and our daughter. I will never give up on our family. Tears streamed down her face. You don't have to promise. Yes, I do, he insisted gently. I want you to never doubt it. I promise too, she whispered. They kissed, deep, unhurried, while the ocean bore witness and the stars watched in silence. Later, back at the hotel, their daughter slept soundly, exhausted from the day. James and Too Deep stood on the balcony, listening to the distant waves. Thank you, Too Deep whispered. For the most beautiful night of my life. There will be many more, James promised, holding her from behind. They stood there a long time, feeling complete, but in the darkness of a hospital room, James lay unconscious. The beach faded, the candles dimmed, the ocean dissolved like mist. Another voice called him, urgent, frightened. James, please wake up. Can you hear me? Too Deep's real voice, tearing him away from the memory. Pulling him toward pain, toward reality. His hand tightened weakly around hers. He began to fight his way back to the light.